So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Happy June 4th. Happy spring. This is an official podcast that will launch the official countdown to the second audiobook in the Secrets of the Damned series by Woodstock based author Jimmy Shaw. Forbidden Dreams is the second book in the series. First audiobook, The Kirk, with our voice actress Nora Aga in Ontario, is completed. Please check it out. The second book, Nora is also putting together, and she's done a great job. Jim, you're here today. How you feeling today, good sir?
Good, good.
Jim has been very busy this week because he's starting the NB Independent Authors Association with myself and Doug Archer for the last couple of weeks. We've been very busy on that, and the other podcasts will explain a little bit better, and we'll touch upon it at the end of the podcast. Now, Jimmy, this process for the second audiobook of Secrets of the Damned, the original book was called Vanderburg House. This is Forbidden Dreams. Could you tell the public basically what to expect in this audiobook? Because the updated and revised of Vanderburg House is Forbidden Dreams. Could you tell them exactly what to expect from your great book and audiobook?
Well, it was rewritten, and it's got a little more pizzazz. It's got a little more horsepower than the original story. Mostly because Franny found some inconsistencies that she felt should be addressed. So we addressed them.
So the basic plot of the second book, if you can not give it away, because we don't want to give away it, because we want people to enjoy and purchase and access the hard copy and the audiobook. What's the plot or the basic plot of Forbidden Dreams?
Everybody dies.
You're giving it away though, but you're not saying at what level.
No, not everybody dies.
It's a fatal book where a lot of the main characters succumb, as we said.
It's a story inside of a story.
Now, we have Jack Stevens as the hero of the Kirk. Who's our main person or main anti-hero of the Forbidden Dreams?
There's well, now let me see. Quite honestly, I'd say there's four. There's two teenage kids, Paul and Scott, and then there's two police officers. And for most of the book, you know them just as the captain and the sergeant.
Yeah, and it's a very, very intriguing book because if anybody has read the original or read the revised in hard copy form, a lot of things going on in Forbidden Dreams. What exactly you want the readers to get from that book? Because the Kirk is a book of revenge and revival. Forbidden Dreams. What do you want the reader to get out of that? Because it is the second book of the Secrets of the Damned, and everybody in the series is damned in one way or another.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery / thriller / fantasy novel.
Yeah. Now you said Nora and you had worked on getting the chapters together over how many weeks, Jimmy?
Has Nora been working on the book?
Like the spell book too, because book one is tremendous, 11 hours, and she put a lot of great work. How long have you and Nora been working on the chapters?
I think as far as Forbidden Dreams go, Nora and I have been working on this one since probably the last week of February.
Yeah, because it takes a while to approve. Almost the same time to finalize the book.
And she still has 2 weeks till the 14th for it to be officially finished.
Yeah.
On her end, and then then I approve
towards a possible candidate release, as we say.
Well, that's what we're hoping for. But it's the last time the book was released earlier than her and I anticipated. Yeah. So it might be the same way this time around. I'm not sure.
See, the whole process that Nora does with her husband as well. She set up a studio there, and her husband helps with the editing. Little shout out to Michael there. But the idea, we lucked out getting Nora. Talk about that a little bit for people that don't already know. She had posted something like a promo reel online. And you found it out because originally you wanted a man to do the voice. Eh?
Originally, Pam Thompson and my wife Franny and I were sitting in Pam's office, and we were discussing the fact that I was interested in producing my novels in the audiobook format. And she and my wife both agreed that it should be a man. They could only picture a man narrating it. And I thought, well, whatever. Because, at that time, I had nothing invested or at stake one way or the other. So I spent I spent better part of a day just listening to one male actor after another. And I was getting quite bored. I'm easily distracted. So, as a way to not be bored, I just opened up the parameters to either sex. And I listened to a few more men, and I was really getting bored. So then I started scanning titles. And I'm pretty sure I keep saying it's the Lord of the Rings, but something tells me it was the Hobbit. Well, maybe it's the Lord of the Rings, and I keep thinking it's the Hobbit. But
well,
it was one of
Lord of the Rings series. Yeah.
It was one of Tolkien's books anyway. And I said to myself, well, I like that, so I just was going to listen to this person read some of this book. And it was Nora, and I thought, and Nora was making all the different voices, and I'm thinking, hey, now wait a minute. And then I thought, oh, the heck with a man. I'm going to get a woman.
And she gracefully accepted.
She did.
And thank you. Thank you for that, Nora.
She did. She accepted, and right within minutes, she sent me back. We sent her an audition chapter, or 3 or 4 pages or whatever. And she I think it was first 5 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. And I listened to that, and I was spellbound. I thought, this is the voice for me.
She's an instructor by trade, a very good teacher, and she comes to the Middle East because a lot of expats from the Middle East are here in Canada.
She's not an expat.
Well, I thought she was Kuwait.
She was born here in Canada.
Well, her family were expats. That's right. Kuwait region, I think. Anyway, no, she has a very distinct voice, because the only thing I compare it with is when you see some of the superhero characters, the authors that can do different voices. She can do a Canadian accent, she can do kind of a scary accent, a strong accent, all in the same sentence almost. And she doesn't really know her talent yet. She's a very young person.
To tell you what her talent was like, is one of the characters in the Kirk, which is the first audiobook, is Australian. And here's Nora. I didn't ask her to do this. In fact, this was a complete surprise to me. As I listened to John, all of a sudden I'm hearing Australian accent. And I messaged her on Facebook about it. She said, yeah, I took the time to learn how to speak like an Australian. I thought, whoa, now you're dedicated.
Well, it's various characters in an audiobook can come more to life than just on a printed page. Obviously, you want the readers to enjoy the hard copy, but allowing a voice actress to take you on a journey, and that's what Jim wants to do with these books. Now, as it's going along right now, getting back, we're saying the Brunswick Independent Authors Association, it's a recent formation. We're going towards a full development of the group. We have officially 5 people with myself. We've reached out to 3 or 4 more people, and we're still waiting for finalization for that. But it's kind of ironic, because locally, there are authors locally, but they don't think themselves as independent authors or association could work. We want to make this province-wide, of all different genres, different languages, different backgrounds. It doesn't matter if you're blue, green, purple, whatever. Independent authors need our support. Now, Jimmy, you had mentioned that with Doug Arch, our confederate with the association. Do you think independent authors get a bad rap? They're not getting enough support in this province? Because it seems all the time they have their own horror stories, how hard it is to be an independent author. You lost your book for 7 years, was it?
Yeah, I lost the rights to mine.
And some people overcharge the independent authors.
Oh, they've done that too. Yeah, it's a very hard road to hoe.
Dog eat dog.
It's worse than dog eat dog, because a lot of times, well, you don't have the support that normally other authors would take for granted. You don't have the big marketing clout.
Because you're not with a big publishing house.
Right, and there's not a lot of dollars to throw at marketing.
Yeah, and 750,000 people in New Brunswick, that's almost Metro Boston. I mean, yeah, you look at it, I mean, how many authors we have in New Brunswick? It's got to be more than 1,000.
Well, that's an even more difficult thing, especially if you're a genre artist and
Yeah.
you write in the different genres.
Yeah.
You've already set yourself up for a lot of heartache, because a lot of especially publishers in Canada don't want to deal with genre stuff, or as they say, mainstream
Or it's limited to certain parts of Canada that have been done before. No offense. No parts of Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Quebec, Ontario, whatever.
Well, a lot of the indie authors too. We more concentrate on sales in the United States
You have to
because there's
yeah.
more people in the States that read. And
True,
now
yeah.
let this sink into your brain. There's more people in that United States of America that read novels and just read period than there are people who read, or than there are people all of Canada's population.
10% read on a regular basis. I've seen figures. And don't forget mass transit in the States. Doug had mentioned getting books at the airports. People love the hard copy. Sure, they love the audiobook, but they like that hard copy because it kills time. If you're doing a 4-hour flight, if you don't like the movie and you don't like the food and you don't like the person sitting beside you, you have to bring out a book. It doesn't matter if it's fiction or nonfiction. Americans have eaten up books for years. I mean, oh my God, the political books have been out over the last 50 years. They're bestsellers even before they hit the ground.
See, that's why I would be the first person to say the United States of America has to be per capita more intelligent than Canada because they read, and it's been proven that the more successful, the higher intelligent people consume the written word.
And you took all the warm areas of North America away from us. We got the cold ones. No, I mean consistently, America is America. It's the business of America is business. You can make a chocolate bar in the States with, I don't know. Remember when you came out with the almond chocolate bar and made billions of dollars through the years? Not saying we can do that, but the fact is we need your support to either listen to the podcast, tell your friends if you don't want to buy it, whatever, because it encourages us as independent creators and the other people involved. And I'll give you a quick little story, by the way. Talk about independent creators. A good colleague of ours, Derek Hamilton, who co-scripted and acted and co-presented in a lot of ways this award-winning film Rabbit, which just won 2 awards at the BC Leos and got like 9 nominations. It's hard for any independent creator. Doesn't matter if it's visual or whatever. You got to support each other. And it's very cool that Derek has been giving us good advice on the secrets of the dam and the association as a whole, because he's been through it. But there's a lot of people out there that we want to connect with, that we say we hear you and we're going to work together. The idea is, if you want to play hockey, let's say in the old days you go door to door, you get people to play hockey. You need at least 5 or 6 people, right? 3 on 3. The more authors we get to join or affiliated with an organization, I think we're better off. Hey, I've just made kind of soft inquiries recent weeks, and I mean the people are talking to, from people in St. John, Moncton, all across the North Shore, some in Quebec, saying New Brunswick needs an association like this, because the more associations like this, where we're not, I don't want to say the association, but you can figure it out, we really need more for independent authors, because I don't think there's enough. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I should add that I wasn't knocking Canada. I realize that Canada has more college graduated and educated folks than almost any country of the G7. So I'm not knocking Canadians. I'm just saying Canadians somehow have forgotten to read.
The culture of Canada in most times is surviving, while the culture of the States is expanding. Because the knowledge that's put in the book, I have many great nonfiction authors. This is a true story. There's a series of books called a Fact series that's published in the States. It's just on one specific artist or movie or genre or whatever. And Jim knows about that. These books go for $25 each. There's hundreds of the Facts FAQ series. They sell like hotcakes. You couldn't do that in Canada. You tried to do a compilation book about Canadian artists. What was it, Mondo Canuck? That was the only book it could sell. There was another book about music appreciation in Canada, like singles and stuff. But I'm just saying, when the audiobook come out, if you do buy it, or if you want to buy the previous audiobook or the hard copy of both books, please, 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 that Jim's mantra, give us a review.
To be perfectly frank, yeah, I like the review thing, but you don't have to buy the audiobook.
Yeah.
All you have to do is
The Audible, yeah.
join
Audible
and they
free
give
preview
it to you for free.
But remember to unsign if you don't want to keep with them after a month.
Well, I mean, but they're going to give you a free book every month.
And
so.
Kobo does the $5 one, so you could buy some of Doug and Wendy's book. Wendy Koenig, our good colleague there. Some of her books are available there. And Wendy getting written up in the Brunswick News this week, talking about insurrection, was part of her sentient science fiction series. Quite an interesting book. Wendy and Jim had a nice, quick 2-hour session at a Grand Falls event in the weekend, Wendy's a big supporter of all independent authors. We're glad she's a part of it. And my good family member Darren Doucette is another one. He's the creator of the Super Record Guy series, which is a comedy series about market supremacy, supermarket supremacy. Check it out. So that's just 40 authors besides the ones we're recruiting right now. And some people really think that this should have happened before. I mean, there's a very important person I know in St. John who said to me, well, maybe it's time for an association like this to really, really go the non-profit route or invest in and to get something done. Because if you don't support independent authors in New Brunswick, you're going to lose them. We can't work for nothing. You need to reinvest in the efforts and legal and producing books. Because Jim's been at it over a decade. I've been at it as a journalist for 36 years. Doug's been at it for more than a decade. Darren's got a decade in. Wendy, I don't know, how many years has Wendy in as an author?
More than a decade.
More than a decade. She's from Colorado too. A lot of good writers and creators in Colorado. And Wendy's books are tremendous. And
I'm currently reading them. They are good.
Yeah. But Wendy's doing also kids books as well. She does all kind of stuff. Check out her Facebook, Wendy L. Koenig or Wendy Koenig, just like Captain Koenig from Space 99's pronunciation. So Jim, I think that's going to wrap it up. Anything you want to add, or?
No, not really. I'm just thinking about my books are available on Kindle.
Yeah.
My books are available
Amazon.
On Amazon as a hard copy.
Yeah.
And they're also being converted into audiobooks as fast as I can get them out. I'm going to be starting more to concentrate more on the Gugway and that third Secrets of the Damned Dark Angels.
And by the way, thank you to the supporters of the Gugway podcast. That's been trending very strongly amongst the Bigfoot websites, Facebook sites in the States. I think we've triggered something because more people now are talking about the Gugway. In recent weeks, I don't think there's also a certain movie about the Gugway that's already out or something.
Primal Rage.
Primal Rage.
Very good.
A lot of people are into the Aboriginal legends now. And a little shout out, I know it's kind of weird, but Wes Studi is one of the best Aboriginal actors of all time. He just got an honorary Oscar for his dedication to the craft. I think we're going to enter a very groovy time in 2019.
Wait a second, did he star in Last of the Mohicans?
Yes.
He was Mugway.
Yes.
Oh, he's an awesome actor.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, I mean, what happened? Aboriginal issues because of the reconciliation, the big report about the missing and murdered Indigenous women. People, obviously, they're trying for reconciliation, but they're trying to show respect that wasn't shown before to the legends and literary aspect of, like, the Gugway. But the Gugway, check out our previous podcast. And when I've been telling people what the Gugway does to take out its, feed, people are saying, my God, how come there's never been a series on that? Like, it's getting people interested. Like, Jim's series is not just about vampires and legends and that. Like, there's a lot going on. Just like Doug's books and Wendy's books. An author, like Wendy always says, an author always has 15 unfinished books in the back of their head. I think Jim can back up on that, so as we say.
Every time I take a bath, I'm writing a book.
See, every time I think about Jimmy taking a bath, I think about this true story. When I was a kid, this is no lie, this has nothing to do with Jimmy taking a bath. We didn't have indoor plumbing. You know why there was no riders from Northern New Brunswick? Hard to take a pee break when there's no interior bathroom. You have to go to the outhouse or whatever. When indoor plumbing came in across North America, we had better writers. Even Stephen King. Imagine Stephen King going to an outhouse. See, everything contributes to the writing aspect. So again, on this Tuesday, June 4th, we're in the midst of the NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals. The Blue Jays not doing well. But you got to remember, if you get bored, pick up a book. Support your local authors. Support your independent author. And a little shout out again, a little thing. Rod Serling's daughter, Anne Serling, did a very important nonfiction book on her father. We're showing big support behind that. And also, there's Nathan Long, my good friend from Woodstock, is doing an independent book on the history of Woodstock, which is going to be a good read. So they're all over the place. There's independent authors, self-published, and
don't forget Mars Thornton. She writes a lot of books.
Yeah.
She's been writing for many, many years.
And the Unknown Comics new book is coming out. That's his own publication, by the way. Good Bathurst, New Brunswick guy. Maybe we should call up the Unknown Comic and offer him to join. He's an independent author.
Is he an indie?
Yeah, he's got his new book out. Yeah, independent author, self-published. I don't think Unknown Comic is working for anybody because I don't think people would want to have his character come back, and not in the Me Too movement anyway. So, but hey, it is what it is. The 1970s live on. So on this great day, we wish everybody the beat of Kirk.
We should give a shout out to Candy Palmer.
Candy Palmer too, the Aboriginal comedian, talk show
She
host.
just won an award, so she's
Her 700 of her career Inspire Award. What was her Inspire Award?
I don't know, but she wins awards because you know what? She does a lot of fantastic things. She's a great
CBC,
voice for Aboriginal people.
Yeah, and she's done work with Q. She's been on Trailer Park Boys. She's been in independent productions. Some of her shows are Candy Show on APTN. Some of her series have been streaming.
Well,
So,
I'll tell you, the Jimmer is a fan of Candy Palmer.
Well, I went to school with Candy. Let me tell you, she was a great volleyball player. But as we like to say back in Lauren, Candy was going places. Candy, you know, if you're listening to this, if you ever remember what the bunch from Lauren was saying to you, Gravel, you're going places. And that was over 3 decades ago, and you've gone a long way.
She's gone places, yes.
No, and all the Palmers are very talented. Another shout out to Pam Palmer, you know who you are. Anyway, on this great day, we say keep your stick in the ice, fear the Gugway, beat a Kirk, and please support independent authors. Bye.